It began with a whisper, a cosmic secret that slithered through the void, carried by the cold breath of dead stars. No species dared to enter the Milky Way, no explorers charted its spiral arms, no probes drifted into its celestial graveyard, and no curious minds questioned why. It simply was a forbidden place, a silent testament to something far worse than death. Zyra, a scientist aboard the intergalactic research vessel Oblivion, had spent her life unraveling the mysteries of the universe. She had studied black holes, deciphered ancient ruins of extinct species, and even glimpsed the edges of higher dimensional existence. But nothing had prepared her for this, the one puzzle that no mind had dared to touch. The ship's alarms screeched as they breached the boundary. The crew had ignored the warnings of every galactic record. They had laughed at the legends, superstitions, they had called them, fairy tales for the weak-minded. But the moment they entered, the void itself seemed to breathe. The darkness thickened, swallowing the distant starlight. Instruments failed, pulses of unreadable energy rippled through the ship's frame, and a deep, pulsating dread settled in Zyra's chest. The transmission came at exactly 3:33 Galactic time. A voice, soft, hollow, inviting. "You shouldn't be here." Zyra's blood turned to ice. She turned to her crew, her voice catching in her throat. The captain, Oren, tapped frantically at the controls, but the ship no longer responded. The navigator, Kelt, stared at the screen, watching their position shift without their input. They weren't moving, yet they were being pulled. Something was drawing them in. The black hole at the center of the Milky Way loomed in the distance. It pulsed with unnatural life, a deep, sickening red glow that defied the laws of physics. Zyra felt her mind stretch, her thoughts unraveling into something raw and ancient. Something remembered them. The transmission came again. "You shouldn't be here." The voice no longer seemed distant. It was inside the ship. No, inside their heads. Oren clutched his temples, his breath ragged. "It's not possible," he gasped. "Dang, it's talking!" Zyra forced herself to look at the screen. The Milky Way had always been quiet. No distress signals, no colonies, no ruins of lost civilizations. It had been cleansed, wiped of all who once lived. Her hands trembled as she scrolled through ancient records, declassified whispers of species who once dared to enter. All had vanished. Their final messages were brief, fragmented, and filled with madness. It seized us. "Don't listen to the voice, we were wrong to come!" Kelt let out a strangled scream, his body convulsed, his veins turning black as something unseen twisted through his flesh. His eyes bulged, his mouth opened wider than humanly possible, as if something inside him was forcing its way out. Then he collapsed. Dead. But his shadow remained standing. The darkness beneath him peeled away from the floor, stretching upwards, hollow and writhing, forming something that no human mind could comprehend. A formless void, an absence of light and reason, a thing that should not be. It turned toward them and smiled. Not with a mouth, not with eyes, but with the unbearable sensation of being known. Entirely, utterly, completely known. Oren bolted. The moment his foot crossed the threshold of the bridge, his body imploded, folding into itself, crushed into an unrecognizable mass before disappearing entirely. The voice whispered again, "You were warned." Zyra could hear it more clearly now, a low and patient thing, ancient beyond reckoning. It was not angry. It was not cruel. It was merely waiting. She felt something slither through her mind, peeling back her thoughts like fragile parchment. It was inside her now. It had always been inside. A sick realization crawled through her spine. The reason no species dared to enter the Milky Way. The reason all records spoke only in riddles and fears. It wasn't forbidden, it was claimed. A prison, a feeding ground, a place where something unspeakable had been trapped outside of time itself. And now, it was awake. The ship's walls darkened, shadows deepened, stretching and twisting in unnatural ways. Zyra backed against the console, her breath shallow. Every answer led to more questions, questions she did not want answered. How many had come before them? How many had heard the voice? And how many had never truly left? A sound echoed through the ship, laughter. A distant, empty chuckle, layered with voices upon voices, stretching back across millennia. She felt her own mouth move, but it wasn't her voice that spoke. Welcome home. The stars flickered, and then they went. Moral of the story: some doors are meant to remain closed. Some truths are meant to remain unknown. In our endless pursuit of knowledge, we must ask ourselves, do we truly want to know what lurks beyond the veil?